In this video of the Play module, what we're going to be looking at is what we see when we open up the Explore workspace. So let's jump straight in and do that within the interface. So within GA4, in the workspace menu on the left-hand side, we've got the Explore workspace as an option. If we click into that, it takes us into this screen, which works and looks slightly different to the rest of the workspaces within GA4. The first thing we'll notice across the top is the different exploration techniques that are available, and even a template gallery that we can explore. Having a look at the template gallery, it gives us a view of all of the exploration techniques, i.e. the visualizations that we can perform. Clicking on one of these will take us into a pre-populated version of this. It's a good springboard or a starting point if you don't know where to begin. Underneath, there's some other templates covering some other use cases that you might find useful as well. Rather than using one of the templates, we're going to start from scratch and go into a blank exploration. Once in the exploration edit screen, we can see that there's a lot going on. So first thing to do is just collapse down these two edit menus on the left-hand side and just take stock of what we're looking at. So this is in a sense a workbook. The exploration is a workbook with multiple tabs. Each tab can be a different technique. Now let's open up the variables panel on the left-hand side. This is something that affects every single tab, i.e. every exploration technique that we're using within this exploration. Two things I should do first of all, just double check that I'm using the right date range that I want to use. So in my case, I'm going to use the last 28 days. And the next thing I'm going to do is give this exploration a name. Underneath that, we've got our segments, dimensions, and metrics, which are all empty currently. In explorations, we have to define what data we want to import into the exploration before we can visualize it. The way that we do that is by using the plus symbol. So for example, if I wanted to import some dimensions, I use the plus symbol here. And then I've got a list of all of the dimensions that are available to be used within Google Analytics 4. I'm just going to save time and use the search bar at the top of the screen. And I'm going to go find our session default channel group, country, and browser. Once I've found those and I'm happy, I can click import. And you'll see them populate the list on the left-hand side. I'll do exactly the same for metrics. So let's go in here and find sessions and our engagement rates, for example. Now that I've found those, let's click import and also import those into the exploration. Now that we have them imported into the exploration, let's open up our tab settings panel as well. So now this settings panel is purely relating to the tab that we're currently on. We can see that we're currently on a freeform exploration, and underneath we can see what type of visualization we're going to visualize it as. Before we do any of this, let's make sure that we've got some data to plot. Let's go in and add our session default channel group, and let's just put sessions in there as a value. So now we can see that we can build very quickly a data table just looking at sessions by channel group. Now that we have some data visualized, I can actually change the visualization at the top of this panel and change it from a table to a pie chart, to a bar chart, even a line chart, scatter chart, or even plot it on a map. Putting it back to a table though, what we can also do is we can expand what we're looking at and add some additional metrics and dimensions. So let's go in and add the engagement rate alongside the sessions here. We can also do the same for our dimensions. So let's drag country in alongside our session default channel group. I don't have to just look at the data this way though. If I wanted to plot this as a pivot table, what I can do is I can drag that country field from the rows into the column section. And now I've plotted a pivot table. At the bottom of the tab settings panel, there are two more options I can look at. So first of all, I can change the cell type. At the moment, it's plotting it as a mini bar chart, but I can change that to a heat map, or I can just look at the number itself. And also I can add filters, and these work in the same way as they do in the reports workspace. I can filter on any dimension that I've imported into this exploration, and I can choose the values to filter it on. For example, I can filter on browser. I don't have to have plotted browser in the chart itself to use it as a filter, and I can, for example, filter our browser to equal Chrome, and now I'm looking just at Chrome users. Anything we do in an exploration is automatically saved, so you don't have to manually save anything. So if you wanted to pick up from where you left off at a later date, you go back into the explorations and you'll see it in the list alongside any others that may be publicly shared. In the Explore workspace and the explorations you build, one of the key things you're going to come across is the concept of a data retention period. This is the reasons why you can't go back as far in time in the Explore workspace as you can in the reports workspace. Check out a link in the description to a video all about the retention window and how to change it and what it does. So that's an introduction into the Explore workspace and building explorations, specifically using the freeform technique to visualize data in various different ways. Over the next couple of videos, we're going to be looking at other techniques, specifically around funnels and visualizing user journeys over a period of time. We're also going to be taking a look at segments and understanding how we can segment our users together and then activate those through things like audiences in the reports workspace and externally in our advertising platforms. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.